Hey guys, welcome back. So tonight I am going to be working on a droid head. Now this is going out to someone a long time ago. I was supposed to send them a head. It got broken. I intended to fix it and totally forgot about it. So instead of fixing that thing, which would take me forever, I decided to make a new one. And I'm going to hurry up and get this thing prepped and sent out. So as I do the prep, I figure I may as well speak to the camera. You guys can see what I do. So this is the head. It's hey guys, it's the Death Star droid head. If you guys haven't seen these before, I haven't made one of these from the mold in a long time. You can see it's got some little surface texture and everything. This is from the rough mold that I made, like, I don't know, over 2 years ago, and that came straight off of the sculpture. So it's not a cleaned up version. It's basically the preliminary versions of this. It's got a seam line down the back from the mold, which I'm going to scrape off with this fantastic tool that I have here. Now this is a blade that is used by cigar makers, and when I lived in Tampa, there were places that made Cuban style cigars, even though everybody that worked at these places was Cuban. And a friend of my wife's gave this to our stepson, but he was really young at the time, and they didn't want him to have this weird blade, so it's been here forever. And I discovered it recently. This thing it's pretty thick, so it doesn't bend really easily, but it has this good blade, nice curve on it, and this is really, really, really good for getting prints off of the printer bed on my 3D printer, which is very handy. So it's also good for doing some scraping on resin parts, just to get off these, just to knock down the seam line. I'm not going to be able to fully remove this right now, but this is a kit. When I sold these a while back, I severely underpriced them, which to my detriment. I didn't realize the amount of work it would take to get them prepped up and ready, so it wasn't a very good situation for me. But anyway, got to get these parts set up. So for this guy that goes on the side over here, for the head detail, I have made a template. I don't know if you can see on here, it's got the outlines of the parts, and then outlines that line up with all the parts of the helmet. So I can make sure it's nice and straight here. And I should have a Sharpie around here somewhere. Do I? Or did I leave it inside? I probably left it in the house. Jeez, Gordon. Alright, doesn't matter. You guys can probably see it on camera and I can't see it. Is it up here? I always have a Sharpie around. Where did it go? You guys steal my Sharpie? Anyway, alright, I'm going to mark it with this. I'm going to drill out some holes. Make sure everything's lined up real nice. Because it has sort of a weird placement. And I was really careful to get one of these right before I did this. So I'll mark it with the X-Acto. There we go. Now, this helmet, because the last one got broken, I made this new one about 30% heavier. It is very heavy. Now this is a display version. You could take it apart and make it into a helmet. It is hollow inside, but it's definitely got some weight to it. And tomorrow I will be cutting this, I don't know, the neck, this core spout off. What I do when I make the rotocast versions is I put a cup inside, like this one I used a Slurpee cup, and it goes down really far into the inside, and then when I pour my resin in, I can rotocast it, and it won't dump back out. So I can leave the bottom open. It's easy to rotocast, but I still have access to the inside. I don't have to worry about putting a plug in there or anything, and almost none of the resin comes back out of the cup, which is a big plus. So, alright, let's get to drilling this thing here. I'm not even sure what size bit I should use. This guy will be good. No rocket science here. I'm just going to get the hole started, and then I don't know how thick this is, and the screws I had initially barely made it through the surface, so I'm going to be sure that this one, yeah, I put a lot of resin in this guy. So there we go. got some little holes in the side. And basically what I'm going to do is just tack these parts into place. I'm not going to put screws in here or anything. I'm just going to put some nails in here to guide them so they just can plug in, and I'm going to hot glue the part on, so everything will be attached when he gets the helmet, but he'll be able to pop them off for paint or whatever, and then all the holes will already be in here. There's 2 holes at the top here where some of these guys go, these little pieces, they kind of go back here like this, and I carefully mark them off based on my reference, and I just want to make sure that those are drilled, because once you start sanding and cleaning it up, the marks will disappear. So that's why I do it the way I do it. Alright, so I use the same template to mark up my the part here, whatever this detail is on the side greeley, whatever you want to call it. Lost it. Probably not that exciting to watch while I hide back here. Guys, I'm doing a lot of work back here on the other side of this helmet. There we go. Anyway, I just marked it with the X-Acto knife. I don't want this to go very deep, so I'm just gonna drill a little tiny hole here. Get this started. I'll move this out of the way because I'm sure this is super boring. Drill a small hole, just get it started. Probably right into my hand. And one here. Probably put this on with a magnet. Not that that's the best way to do it, but might actually work kind of good. I should do that. I got a bunch of magnets up here. I wonder if one would fit in this hole I just made. Now there should, if I did this right, these should line up this way. And yep, looks like it's gonna be right. So I'll get those things pegged out. Now in the top here, there's all these holes, these detail pieces. I have to drill these through. All kinds of fun. And I think this size drill bit. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start this with a really small fine drill bit, so that I have a little starter hole to work with, and I don't slip too bad and go off the side and mar up the helmet. Oy. Come on now. There's like a little tiny bubble inside, probably 5 of these holes. And the shape of the bubble makes the drill bit want to drift into an area where I don't want it to drift. When I made this helmet, I did a white coat on the outside, but the inside I did different color coats, so when I drill through, it comes out yellow and green and blue and all kinds of weird colors. So much fun. I don't even know if I'm going to post this video. This is sort of ridiculous. You're watching me fumble around here and you can't even see what I'm doing. I wonder if I should move the camera. Or if I should move myself. I don't even know. I don't even know. I guess I should ask you guys what kind of videos I should be doing. I have a bunch of these projects going on. I'm always trying to document what I can as I do them, but sometimes it's not convenient to get the cameras all set up and try to videotape it. And I've noticed that just because I'm super busy, it's hard for me to edit things. Sometimes I can, but it's hard for me to keep up with edits. So if I am making a series of videos that require lots of editing, they fall behind really easily. So I try to do them in 1 or 2 takes, or do them in a way where I can just throw the clips together on my phone. Seems to make it easy. Alright, got these guys started. This one's a little off center, so I'm going to try to bore it toward the middle. There we go. And now we'll switch to the correct size drill bit. So looks like this one. We'll make these holes very nice. my gosh. So recently, like just this week, I saw these videos of this thing called gang stalking. If you've never heard of gang stalking, you should go look it up because it's ridiculous. These people are hyper paranoid and they think that everybody that they see is like following them around for some reason. It's really, really weird. And I didn't know that kind of thing existed. It's kind of scary. It's scary that these people are so paranoid. They seem like they're almost willing to hurt people that have nothing to do with them just because they think they're being followed and or harassed. There's this one video where this guy, he lives here in California, like 20 minutes from here, and I live in the San Fernando Valley. There are tons of helicopters around here. And this guy, every time he sees a helicopter, he is absolutely convinced that helicopter was sent there to annoy him. And you know, at first I thought this was a joke and people being goofy. Got some holes in there now, but these people are totally serious. It is super weird. All right, now I got to put the star detail on, which goes in the front right here. Sorry, this is kind of jumping all over the place. This is just train of thought. I got a hole here. That'll stick on the front with one of these guys on top of it. This one already has a screw in it. I need to sand these guys in the morning, I think, on my sander. These little parts here, I don't know if you can see this, are super, super hard to cast without getting a bubble. There's something about the shape. They get bubbles really easily. I need to get a pressure pot so that I can force them to work. But for every one that comes out right, there's probably 5 of them that get horrible bubbles like this. Like this one is fixable. I would fix this one for my own helmet. You see that bubble? I've probably got more of them like that. I think I actually fished out the good ones out of the batch. I have a big bin around here with a bunch of resin parts that are all just terrible. Same with these the little tusks that go on the front. A lot of these get bubbles as well. Let's see the cleanest ones I've got here. Now, typically, for my own projects, if I'm finishing out one of these, I'll take one with a bubble and just fix it. But I feel bad sending out anything with a bubble, even if it's really small. I feel like people, I don't know, some people are okay. They don't even care because they understand that it's just like a resin kit. But some people are just like, oh my gosh, it's a tiny bubble. It's the end of the world. It doesn't faze me. I've gotten so many resin helmets and parts from people that have defects that are fixable. I don't even think twice about it. I just fix it and move along. So these little guys get a tiny little peg in the back. Let's see, is this one clean? Yep, this is a good one. All these little pieces I had 3D printed at Shapeways, and then I cleaned them up and I made molds. That one good? That one's pretty good. That one actually has a tiny bubble in it. Do I have any other ones up here? I do. Yeah, I definitely need a pressure pot because these little buggers are super hard to cast. And it would make them much, much cleaner. So yeah, you guys feel free to leave this video. I'm sure this is super boring. But if you're still here, just know that in the next few days I will be posting some videos that are basically tours of hotel rooms that I've stayed at in the last few months. And I know that's not typical stuff for my channel, but I do like to post them because I find them very handy when other people post those kind of reviews. So just ignore them. You'll see it'll say hotel review. If you're here for me making stuff, just please skip those videos because you're going to hate them. And I just want to avoid a big old freaking dislike on it. Or you can dislike it, it's okay. I'm just going to assume that it's probably a person from the hotel that disliked it, not one of you guys. Alright, so this little nail should fit in here if I did this right. I might need to jump up one bit size on the drill. But that might do it actually. There we go. There we go. Perfect. All right, so one tusk down. Now it's a bubble. This is the other good one. Let's see here. Good. Now these little guys go in the front here, so I have to drill a little hole. And try not to drill through the bottom. It's easy to slip on this and mess it up. Ugh. See if I can get the angle right. Don't mess it up. See that? The bunch of yellow resin coming out. See that? My drill bit just slipped because I didn't crank it down tight enough. Oh gosh. Da-da-da. Now I would do this on the live stream, but my signal out here in my shop is super weak. It doesn't always work. Look at that. Look at that. I don't even need to glue these things in. Beautiful. So now we got some tusks in the front here. Real good. Yeah, I might have to do that with mine. These work. I think these came out better than the ones on my own build. This one could go a little bit deeper. Let me see if the whole thing pulls out. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm still going to give them a little bit of hot glue just to keep them in place. So, let's see what's next. These guys, I'm just going to pop a nail through there just to hold it in place for now. Which one did I have here? Which drill bit did I use the first time? This one, I think. Just to get it started. Maybe. I don't know. Looks right. Looks correct. Now, I wonder if I can. This is a little scary. Where are my safety glasses? There we go. Did you hear that? It hit the other side of my room. Alright, now, let's see what size drill bit doth we need for this one. It's a little big. I think this is the guy. Yeah. Now, like I mentioned before, this is a display helmet, so it doesn't matter if there's sharp, pokey things down on the inside of this. They just have to look right. There we go. It should. Yep. It does. It works nicely. And all this will slide into here, like that. Now I have the head detail, part 1. We need the same detail. It has to go down here on the sides, right here. And I have all these holes marked already, so I'm not just drilling randomly. They're all figured out, and they show up in the casting. There we go. Got those, and I got the ones in the top, which are basically right here. And right here. That's right. There you go. Make sure it's centered. There we go. I'll get back on the camera. Sorry. Oh, now, let's see what we've got here. We can do some little pilot holes with this tiny bit. Sorry, I'm sure this is super boring. How long have I been doing this? Almost 20 minutes. Holy cow. Safety first. And make sure this thing is centered as it can be. Alright, there's one. Here's another one. Well, some of these have some little boogers to clean up. But they don't have bubbles, which is good. Alright. There we go. Drill bit was a little loose. There we go. There's one. Here's two. Now, I don't need a whole nail for these guys, so put the tip off this one. Jeez, scares out the glasses. Hear these things popping off everywhere. Alright. There it goes. Alright. So, got two more here. One in the back. Again, I will be roughly gluing all these into place. Not a permanent thing, but just enough so that they stay for shipping and they're in the right places. So we got the little details in the back, one in the front. Now I just have to get the last two for the sides. This one already has a screw in it. I think, yeah, at one point this was supposed to be the one that screwed into the helmet, and I ended up ditching it because the screws I got were too short and they wouldn't make it all the way through the resin. Hey, I got this guy too. How's this gonna work? Enough in here? I guess I can do one of these temporary plugs for this one as well. Sorry guys. Freaking Friday. There we go. These are also, on top of being sketchy, they're not the sharpest and best cutters I've got. Yeah, I got a bigger pair somewhere that would work a little easier for this. I'm going to do this one a little more carefully to keep it from shooting across the room. Almost in the eye. Almost in the eye. Let's see. So this one, the pegs will go in upside down. Gordon, come on, you know better than that. The pegs will go into this. That thing will sit in place. I am going to tack the pegs down with some Zap-A-Gap on that one because I drilled the holes a little bit big. I should have gone with one size smaller drill bit, but it will be fine. So, a little Zap-A-Gap in each one of these guys. There we go. Close that up. If you don't use Zap-A-Gap, you should because it's awesome. There we go. I want to make sure that I don't have too much excess here. So I don't want to make a big lump on the side that's going to make it not work properly. Alright. And some zip ticker so we can harden those up really quickly and move along with our day. Is that straight? It is not. Almost. Almost. There we go. There we go. They're kicking off. A little bit more here. that's done for now. Kicked off. Now I can stick that in its place. Again, hot glued tomorrow. So now we have the side detail. And we just have two little guys left here. I'm going to have to drill this one out, I think. The small drill. This is why when I charged the initial amount, it wasn't quite enough because I had to put all the materials in. I have to stand outside to rotocast these. It's not fun at all. It is a heap of work. That one's got bubbles in it. This one is good. This one is pretty good. This one's good. It's got a screw in it. Sorry. Yeah, so doing each one of these takes quite a bit of time. Plus, I have to box it, pack it, shipping materials, shipping containers, boxes, and padding and all that stuff. Take it down to the post office or UPS or wherever. But none of that stuff is really a big deal. It's just that for what I charge for these wasn't enough. So if I ever do another batch of these, I'm gonna tack on some extra. Now the initial intent was not to. The initial plan was not to do many of these because this was the rough casting, like I mentioned earlier, and I've gotten just so many requests recently that I'm considering doing more of them. I would like to finish this out and make it real pretty and nice, and then do a proper mold, and then maybe do like only fiberglass versions from then on. But I don't know what the deal is. I may, if he's available, hire my brother to help me do a whole bunch of them, just rotocast them out, and then just to have another set of hands. I don't have enough time half the time for half of these projects, so having another set of hands here would be really good. So I'm going to run that by him this week and see what he thinks. There we go. There's one. And this last one has a little booger on it that I'm going to have to cut off here. Bubble. Hopefully I don't. I'll try to cut this bubble. I'll probably end up breaking it apart, which has happened before. This is always a really smart way to cut stuff with an X-Acto knife. So you see me doing something dumb right now, and I know it. There's I've got probably 6 molds for these parts, and one of them has a big bubble in the mold. But the one with the big bubble always seems to come out the best for some reason, and I think it's because all the air that gets trapped everywhere else wants to go to that bubble and escape. So the resin flows up better in there. He might have to trim that one. I'll send him some extra ones in case he needs them, but should be all right. I am gonna glue these little pegs into place because why not? I think it'll be fine. It's not hurting anything. Put a little glue on here. Stick that down in there. Hit it with some, make sure it's straight. Hit it with some Zap-A-Gap. Look at that. Oh my gosh, why wasn't I doing this sooner? This is great. So anyway, there we go. All the pieces are now on the Droid. Tomorrow I'm going to cut this bottom off and then hot glue everything in place, and this sucker's going in the mail. Finally. So if it's you that's been waiting for this, you know who you are. Here we go. Parts are here. I will throw in extra Greeblies, a bag of them, in case you lose any or break any. You won't have to write me and ask for more. So cool. Droid action. Anyway, thanks guys for sitting here and watching me ramble for 30 minutes. Oh my god. Boring. Boring. The title of this video is going to be Boring Chatter Wow. No. What should I call it? Don't watch this video. It's dumb. That'll be it. Anyway. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking around. I'll see you guys soon with something not nearly this long and boring. Have fun.